What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Talking Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily uploads Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports, whether it be games or breaking news in the NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, you name it. I'm Jake. That's Nick. And in today's NBA episode, since, we typically do, NBA Finals preview, but since these games are 2 off days in a row, which is kind of annoying, we figured we'd cover some breaking news that happened yesterday, late afternoon. Dan Hurley, 2-time winner for UCONN in the past 2 seasons, national champion, rejects down a 6-year length deal worth $70 million to join the LA Lakers, which is obviously one, if not the most coveted franchise in the NBA. My early takeaways for me, Dan Hurley obviously wants to go for that three-peat and chase history. And you know what? That's cool with him. I'm happy for him. He wants to do that bold move. Not many people want to, obviously turn down a head coaching job, especially, the Lakers, though, is a mixed one because it comes with a lot of pressure. And Dan Hurley was in such a great situation that, you get $70 million, but I'm sure he's plenty coveted with finances. Mm-hmm. He's well covered. He'll be good. And, it's just a lot of unnecessary pressure where he has a chance to make history. So, I'm happy for him. And, it just goes to show that, how great of a coach he is. Getting this would have made him a top 6 paid head coach in the league. So, the Lakers really wanted him. And, it says something when Dan Hurley says no thank you. But, for now, where do the Lakers go from here? LeBron has came out and said that they want to make the head coach for the future. He doesn't want to pick the head coach, because a very popular name is JJ Redick, his podcasting teammate. And, I want them to make sure JJ Redick is a good coach because we've seen 2 examples of someone like Jason Kidd, who's a head coach in the finals now, former player, doing great stuff. But we've also seen someone like Steve Nash try and coach it. It didn't quite work out as well. So, I'm curious where they go. I still think, JJ Redick is a very smart basketball mind, but JJ Redick also has a great podcast going with himself now and a great business there. Would he want to, play second chance to the Lakers and be like, all right, I'll take it anyways, with a lot of that added pressure now for JJ Redick? It kind of becomes, do you want to take that pressure where there's immediate win now, obviously, when you have LeBron, AD, and all these players? It's going to be very interesting because, this isn't like a very my favorite head coaching candidate was hired by the Phoenix Suns. I know he gets crapped on a lot, but I really think Coach Budenholzer was a really good coach for the Bucks. He won a championship, got scapegoated because, Giannis was injured and, the Bucks underachieved themselves as players. I didn't really think it was much on Coach Bud, but he would have been my prime target. He's obviously off the board. So they could go, obviously, JJ Redick if he still wants the job, or someone like Micah Nori, Timberwolves assistant, or, one of the Pelicans assistants. It's a big question mark now for the Lakers, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy for Dan Hurley. I'm glad he did this, mainly because of what we've seen in the past so much is that, say, in his first or second year, the Lakers are, the 7th seed in the West, and then all of a sudden he just gets fired. Like, everything's thrown on him. And I feel like you see it with so many NBA coaches, just all the blame is just thrown right on them. And it's like, dude, like, there's only so much they can do. And it's a lot, like you just said, it's so much added pressure when you have LeBron on a team because that team is expected to win games, make deep playoff runs, have a lot of success. And it's tough to do that in your first or second year as an NBA head coach. So I'm glad he stayed at UConn. He has an incredible thing going. Like, they have a chance to be one of the hot spots or meccas of basketball in the country for, younger kids coming up. So I think what he's doing is great, and he should stay at UConn for a while.
Yeah, at least for another year to try and go for that three-peat. But, for me, it's just going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do from here because, Dan Hurley made his decision. I'm happy for him. Like I said, go chase history, my guy.
Right.
But, yeah, and, I think Darvin Ham kind of, obviously every coach has their flaws and, but was he the best coach? Probably not. But what else do you want him to do? His lineups sometimes, sucked, but LeBron is 39. He's guaranteed to miss at least 10, 15 games a season. Anthony Davis always going to miss some games. And then after that, you're relying on, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, who are like fine role players, but they aren't, The Lakers roster is probably like, in my opinion, they're not like a top five in the West roster. Like the teams that finish ahead of them, OKC has a better roster, way more depth. The Nuggets obviously have a way better roster, and just more superstar power. The Timberwolves have a better roster. Who was the 4 seed? The Clippers, when they're healthy, have a better roster. And then obviously the Mavericks had a better roster once they made those trade deadline acquisitions. So, in my opinion, I don't really think this is going to be like, I really don't. I think Darvin Ham kind of got a bad rap. And yeah, it's just unnecessary added pressure. Obviously someone's going to take the job. It's still, one of the – I mean, you could look at it the other way if you're a Lakers fan. And if you want someone like, hey, you get to coach LeBron, AD, a lot of talent, we'll see what happens. But to be honest, I'm just not sure where they're going to go from here, but we'll see. I mean, obviously someone's going to take the job. I'm just curious, does JJ Redick want to accept the job after kind of, getting that news, like he was going to be the head coach, then like less than 24 hours, they said they're targeting Dan Hurley and offer him a contract extension.
Right. So. I would be rooting for Redick to get the job because, I mean, he's shown obviously he has basketball knowledge, playing in the NBA, but he's also shown that as an analyst and on his podcast. So he's definitely a trustworthy or credible mind that you would put in a situation like that where he's been there before. He knows how to, he knows how to win in the NBA. Does he have a title? I'm blanking on that. JJ Redick.
No, he never won a ring, I believe.
Okay.
He came very close, was on those Clippers teams that could never make it past the second round. And the 76ers had a couple of good teams for him, but never quite get over that hump. But wasn't really his fault. I mean, yeah.
Right, exactly. It's tough to put it on one
Steve
guy.
Nash won 2 MVPs and couldn't coach for shit. So it'll be interesting though. Like I said, just very, big news for the NBA. And I know UConn fans are just rejoicing now as they get to chase history. But it also would have been so curious to see what if Dan Hurley, because, a lot of people, credit his offense because they look like NBA with all the screen and motion. How would he have translated to the NBA? I think that would have been something great to see, because you never know. Maybe he just could have been a flop, and now it's a blessing in disguise for the Lakers.
I mean, maybe we will see him in the near future, but I am glad.
I say maybe if they don't get the three-peat, maybe he just comes and he's like, all right, we tried history, but all right, I'm open to whatever now. So it'll be very interesting to see.
I'm curious to see what UConn's paying him to. I was kind of trying to go through this article, but I couldn't find. Hurley last year inked a 6-year contract, a $32 million value, performance-based. So, I mean, he was definitely obviously getting more money in the NBA, but shout out to him for, not selling out and sticking with his boys and chasing history. I respect that.
Yeah, you got to respect it. But, with that being said, it'll be very exciting now to see what direction the Los Angeles Lakers go, as Dan Hurley has officially, obviously, rejected this offer. With that being said
Mm-hmm.
now, our attentions will turn back tomorrow to Game 3 preview, as we're also excited to tell you guys we'll be live reacting probably to both halves of the game. Should be exciting. Hopefully it's not a blowout. If one team's up 30, everyone can go home. It's going to be, interesting to see. Will the Celtics go up 3-0 or will the Mavericks make this series 2-1 heading into Game 4? We'll be here to preview that game tomorrow. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.